Tu B'Av, the 15th day of the Jewish month Av, is considered one of the happiest days on our calendar. What happened today historically? There are actually 6 different things that occurred. Number 1, the Shekhinah, the divine presence, finally returned to Moshe Rabbeinu and the Jewish people. After those 38 extra years they had to spend in the desert, following the sin of the spies, the decree had finally ended, and they were able now to reconnect completely with God. Number 2, the tribes were allowed to marry into one another. When they initially entered Israel, they had to stick to their own tribes so they wouldn't mess up the inheritance of the land. But now, one generation later, they were able now to marry into other tribes. Number 3, the tribe of Binyamin, was finally allowed to marry into the other tribes. Following a tragic civil war where the tribe of Binyamin was cast aside, they were finally welcomed back on the 15th of Av, and they were able to marry into the other tribes. Number 4, the roads towards Yerushalayim and the temple were finally opened up again. The evil king Yerovam ben Nevat had set up guards to block people from accessing Jerusalem and instead made them worship the golden calves that he had set up across Israel. And on this day, the 15th of Av, in a later generation, they had removed those guards and allowed people once again to go to Jerusalem. Number 5, the victims in the Battle of Beitar, who were not allowed to be buried for 3 long years, were finally laid to rest and were given a proper burial on the 15th of Av. And number 6, on this day, they finished chopping the wood for the altar in the temple, and they were able now to use that extra time that they had when they weren't chopping wood to go back to learn more Torah and delve deeper into spirituality. So these seemed like 6 very different things. The divine presence returning to Moshe, tribes being able to marry into one another, the roads to Yerushalayim open back up, going back to learning Torah. What connects all of these different ideas? There's one common principle that lies beneath all of these, and it's quite remarkable. If you think about it, there's nothing particularly excellent that occurred on this day. Nothing extra happened. It's not like we left Egypt or we were given miraculous clouds or some great miracle happened. What happened was we were able to return to our regular lives, our regular routines. Finally, we're able to go back to Jerusalem. Finally, we're able to marry into one another's tribes again. Finally, we're able to go back to learn Torah. Finally, the bodies were able to be laid to rest in the ground. Things just went back to the way they ought to be. And what this reveals to us is that the happiest day of the year, Tu B'Av, is a day where we celebrate regular life, the many blessings that we're constantly surrounded by. It's not all about the miraculous or the extraordinary. The regular day-to-day life is so filled with blessing and so filled with the cause to be happy. And that's a lesson for us here on Tu B'Av. That's what we're supposed to be bringing home. To appreciate that life itself is worth celebrating, even on a regular day.